Huh?
Somewhere.
Conrad sent us to keep watch here.
I think you're just holing up here. I'll ask him first thing tomorrow and see what he tells me.
Wait, Mum. We're on Conrad's blacklist, and ever since he yelled at you last time, I reckon you are too. So what do you say we help each other out a bit here? We'll hole up a bit downstairs, and you won't say anything to the captain about it.
Have no fear. We'll just have to give your kind permission.
And we'll be as quiet as mice in the hall. We won't disturb you, trust me.
I hope so. Now off with you.
I feel a little sorry for her, with nobody taking her seriously around here. She's some third-rate daughter of some lord from who knows where, so she was actually quite lucky that old Otto took a liking to her.
Wait!
What the devil are you doing in my guards?
Easy, my lady. Don't be angry. Vincent von Kumberg, at your service. I came to see Lord von Berghoff. Unfortunately, we missed each other. But the guard told me you'd take care of me with the kindness you're well known for.
Oh, Lady Ophelia. Pleased to make your acquaintance. No...
I was originally heading to Kuttenberg, but it was getting dark.
Well, you certainly surprised me, but I'm sure you must be tired.
Thank you. You're too kind.
You're lucky, sir. We just happen to have a free room here for guests, which is all too rare. Sir Otto often has visitors when he's in the castle, which I'm sure comes as no surprise to you. I should also mention that there's a second room on the floor, but please excuse me. Entry there is forbidden to you. It's reserved for, distinguished and long-term guests of Lord Van Berghoff. I apologize. Here, Sir Vincent. get some rest. Tomorrow I'll take proper care of you, and you can tell me about your travels. Otto will surely be back in a couple of days. Until then, you'll be my guest. Now, please excuse me. I'm tired and I'm going to lie down. I wish you a good night. It's late, sir, and you must be tired from your journey.
What is happening? Who are you?
Quiet. If you make a peep, we're done for.
Henry?
Good God, Henry. How did you... What are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing? Hunting boar? Came to save your noble arse.
My noble arse thanks you. Oh, how did you get here?
I'll tell you later. Who's this?
Vauquelin-Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. At your service.
Brabant led the defense at Kuttenberg. He's Sigismund's prisoner, same as me.
And I came very close to holding the town. Besides...
There's no time for chit-chat. He's our ally. We can't leave him behind. Right, no doubt you've got a cunning plan for us to get out of here, right? Well, let's hear it.
Of course I have a plan. Listen, I got to the fortress through a secret passageway that old Ruthard told me about. Von Bergov knows nothing about it.
C'est magnifique! Very cunning.
And so far, the garrison has no idea I'm here. We're lucky von Bergov left the fortress along with von Aulitz and some of the garrison. So I'll take you to that passageway, and we'll get out of here. We'll get to the forest not far from here. I have some horses ready there. We'll be gone before you can say the Lord's Prayer.
Formidable! I call that an elegant plan. I myself had to sneak like that once during the siege of Arezzo. So, what are we waiting for? On y va!
Wait. A passageway, you say? A dark, narrow passageway?
Well, it's just a passageway. There's a bit of water in it to wade through, but nothing we can't handle.
You can forget about it. I'm not going through any passageway.
What?
Let me repeat. No passageway for me. It's not the chivalrous way.
It is not chivalrous, c'est vrai, but in our situation, it is more than delicious.
Don't worry. Just trust me. Remember what I said at Trotsky? I won't allow anything to happen to you.
I remember. But if I faint or go mad in that passageway, I'll put you in danger too. And I'm not going to let that happen.
Now relax. We'll manage it together.
Henry, I mean it. You have to trust me on this one.
All right. I do.
Un moment. Henri? You said that von Bergov left. Is that not so?
Yes?
And what about horses? Are there any horses left here?
I think there's a couple, yeah. In the lower courtyard.
Très bien. That will be enough. We just have to get to them, but I think we could get there stealthily. It is not far from the tower to the stables. Then you simply open the gate, et voila, we are gone! Just like I escaped when surrounded by that English dog John Oakwood. It may not be the best plan, it was not back then either. But we simply have no other choice. Time has passed. The fortress is quiet. I believe that most of the garrison has gone to sleep, which plays in our favor.
That's a wonderful plan. No passageways. But we need some weapons.
Exactement. To have a proper piece of steel in my hand again. Preferably Milanese, although I would be satisfied with something local.
I don't have anything for you. Maybe we'll find something later.
I certainly hope so.
Merde. Our plan is starting to fall apart.
I'll go ahead and scout it out. When there's a suitable moment, I'll let you know and you can head out.
And how will you...
Well, the stables can be seen from the entrance hall. If you signal us with a torch from next to the horses, we'll head towards you.
Agreed. Good idea. Wait for my light.
But you must be absolutely certain that the way is clear. If you have any doubt, do not risk our lives. Better to come back to us, and we shall go together.
True. And if we don't hear from you or see your signal for a long time, we'll try to make it on our own.
Précisément. We cannot sit here forever.
Right. Got it.
Brabant, keep watch by the stairway. I'll go to the window and wait for Henry's signal.
I think it would be better if you watch the stairs.
Why's that?
You have better hearing.
You said you once discovered a dozen English spies, so you can surely handle one stairway.
I discovered them because I... Très bien. Now I will show you what a cavalier...
I have a...
Fine. Thanks, Henry.
Horses are here. As soon as it's safe, I should give Cape on the signal.
What's... Eh? Huh?
The horses are here. As soon as it's safe, I should give Cape on the signal. Not yet. First, I have to get Sir Hans to the horses. Well, that's that. Now I just need to wait for Capon. Lord Jesus Christ, stand by our side.
first admit, mes amis, the last time I have had such a suspense was when I was rescuing the King of France.
Oui, monsieur, you're surely brave. And fortune favors the brave. Yeah! Free at last!
Thank you for coming for me, Henry. You're a great friend. The best I could wish for.
After today, you may also count me among your friends. I, Vauquelin Brabant, chevalier, aventurier et voyageur. I'm at your service, mon brave Henri. And I have an excellent idea. In your honor, I shall name my new horse after you.
Pleased to meet you, Sir Vacula.
My name is Vauquelin.
Vauquelin?
Vauquelin. Vauquelin.
Vauquelin... would you mind if I just call you Brabber?
Brabant. En.
Brabant?
Que peut-on y faire? It will have to do. Do not concern yourself, mon ami. Clearly, you are not tenant in any art of conversation. But at least you have courage and other skills. You carried out the entire operation truly brilliantly. I could not have done it much better myself. And look, mon ami, how the fresh air suits Monsieur Chapon. He has finally stopped drawing in self-pity.
What self-pity, damn it? I was locked up for days in a tiny stinking room.
Ah, come now, mon cher. Luck was simply not on your side for once. That is all. Now we are finally free. The time has come for grand deeds. I did not waste my time in captivity. I fought everything over diligently. Listen.
Please, I'd prefer not to.
What's your plan, Sir Baron?
An heroic deed about which odes shall one day be composed, similar to my feat in the famous Battle of Arezzo.
But what would you do now?
What if we were to journey to Vienne? We could assemble a company and liberate Le Roi Wenceslas.
That would be excellent. If the king were to return, the nobility would definitely support him. Sigismund would have to withdraw.
Précisément! And what is more, our names would be sung throughout the kingdom. Undoubtedly, we would also earn a rich reward too. Then I would invite the best stonemason from France and build Monsieur Chapeau a castle that even Chevalier Hanush would envy.
You must be mad. You've been free less than a day, and you're already thinking up ways to get yourself killed. I'd rather endure Hanush's preaching about my incompetence than listen to this chatter. We'll see what happens next. But the first thing that I need is to get good and drunk. We should spur the horses on. God knows, they might be hot on our heels. Yeah! Christ, wounds. Such destruction and havoc.
War. Monsieur Chapon, you have yet to participate in a real battle. But I fought against les Valaques at Naples, and les Anglais in Bourgogne. And that is how war looks, whether in Italy or La Bohème. It is always the same.
That's not war, it's barbarism. What value did this village have?
Eh bien, I would estimate 5 courtyards. Annual revenues could be perhaps, several hundred groschen.
That's not what I meant, Bacaline. No fortress. Maybe one fortified courtyard. Practically insignificant militarily. That's not how war should be fought. This is unjust.
Do not give way to sentimentality, monsieur. The village could harbor spies and saboteurs or supply the enemy, and destroying enemy assets is an effective tool of war. Wars are not decided only in battles. There are not even many of those. To strike in the rear, make the enemy lose and bleed. That is how most conflicts are fought. However, wait a year or two, the village will be settled. The population will increase again. That is how it always happens.
But we're the nobility. Our task is to lessen the chances of such things happening.
You're right, Hans. We must find allies and put a stop to it as soon as possible, so we can save as much as we can.
Yes, but we failed in Trotsky. And now this is our punishment.
I see that short captivity has turned you into a philosopher, Lord Capon. You should apply to the Faculty of Arts before the muse lifts you again.
Here!
This pair of scoundrels.
I fucked everything up.
Oh, get up, lad. Everyone makes mistakes. Only a better man owns up to them. At least we know now what kind of vermin we're dealing with.
What brings you here? We just escaped from Malashov, and right now
There's no time for haste. One thing at a time, my boy. Word reached Rat-Eye that you pair got yourselves into a nice mess. I'm glad to see you both in one piece. So, let's hear it. What happened?
It's best if Henry tells you. I wasn't around for half of it.
No sooner had we spied Trotsky on the horizon than everything started to go to hell. We made camp by a pond with the intention of heading for the castle at first light, only we were ambushed by bandits in the evening. They killed all our men and took everything they could carry, including the letter for von Berghoff.
And how did you two manage to get out alive?
Just by a stroke of good luck. We were both in a bad way. We might not have made it if a local herb woman hadn't taken care of us.
Only after that, we couldn't get into the castle, though. We looked like a pair of beggars.
And the bastards treated us as such.
But you did get into Trotsky in the end, didn't you?
Von Berghoff received us and heard us out. It seemed like he was on our side. We even helped him out several times. Until we found out he was just stringing us along. It all came out after we set out with von Berghoff's men to deal with the bandits who were rampaging in his domain. The same ones who attacked us at the start.
Only they ambushed us and took me and Henry captive for ransom.
But it turned out these very outlaws are on our side. They're fighting for King Wenceslas on the orders of Sokol of Lamberg.
Well, I'll be damned.
So von Berghoff has been the real enemy all this time. And Zhishka is actually our ally.
Zhishka. He's the captain of those outlaws. That name doesn't ring a bell.
I think you'll meet him soon enough.
What impression did he make on you?
He's an interesting fella. Handy with a weapon, but also pretty tricky. It's best to keep a fella like that on your side.
He made quite an impression on me, for one. I'll be happy to see him again. But if only it didn't have to be in Rapors. Why Rapors? Of all the places in the world.
We're riding to a gathering of King Wenceslas's supporters. If fortune favors us, the future fate of the kingdom will be decided there.
If we keep standing around here gabbing about it, It'll be decided without us.
Patience, my friend. This pair have just returned from the clutches of the enemy. No doubt they have something to tell us.
Like how in the devil did you manage to escape?
I was helped by the Ruthard family, the former rulers of Malashov, in exchange for dealing with some trouble they had with Ulrich of Raditz.
Ulrich Vavak? But he's the mint master.
Well, he won't be for long, if it comes to light that he's been putting his sticky fingers on the royal silver.
It seems you've been pretty busy.
But don't forget to say what you found out from von Bergov in Malashov.
Sigismund has convened the city council. Markvart von Aulitz will be there with him, too. The word is, Sigismund is going to make an important announcement there.
He picked a nice time for it. But at least he won't be sticking his nose into what's going on around.
Now, if we had one of our people at that assembly, we'd get Sigismund's plans nice and fresh. Straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
My very words. And I know exactly who to send. Young Lord Capon will go with us to Rabosh, but you'll have to return to the city right away, and try to worm your way into the town hall.
What? How can I get in there? I can't just walk in off the street.
You've got the dirt on Vavak, and you don't know how to use it? Just tell him either he gets you into the council chamber, or you get him on the gallows.
It's worth a try, right?
I hope that assembly really is important. If Sigismund is just going to announce an increase in taxes, there's not much point in my being there.
Well, at least you can enjoy watching the long faces of the councillors when they hear it. And don't worry, I'll eat and drink in Rabosh on your behalf.
If I come back and find you there under lock and key again, I'll lead you to rot.
Take I will go as well, and I will not let your friend out of my sight.
Hans? Who's this?
Vaclin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo, at your service.
He was a captive of Lord von Bergov's, like me. He defended Kuttenberg against Sigismund.
In that case, he'll be a welcome guest at Rabosh.
You don't know what you're promising, Baron. Watching Sir Hans is a job and a half.
The main thing is to watch out for yourself, Henry. As soon as you can do so without raising suspicion, come and join us.
He'll manage it, but now we really need to hit the road.
Safe travel, Henry.
Adieu et bonne chance!
And to you. Hopefully we'll meet soon. I ought to go and see Rosa when I'm in town. No doubt she'd like to know how it went with that book.
Good doggy. Good.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I found this parchment close by, and if you ask...
What?
All right, well, I'm hoping it...
I better be going.
Thanks.
Now just this.
What kind of pig was sitting here?
My respects.
Embroidery! Silk embroidery!
Sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
But I read it. Praise the
Easy, good horse.
Christ wounds, mind where you're going. Your servant.
I'm sorry.
By the way,
My favourite book.
as I wandered through the fortress, and there it lay.
You really found it. By the way, did you have any time?
Actually not.
That's too bad.
Why do you think so?
I just think you might find not in absolutely everything, of course. That's look. You've never thought about writing something.
Me?
How should I know?
I'm sorry.
Wrong onions. White, yellow, and red.
Easy, good horse.
Ow! Kurwa!
I don't know what you said to the midmaster.
Careful.
By the
My face.
as I, and then
You really.
I read a bit of it.
What?
While reading it, I thought the writing styles. Well, yeah. Or her.
Women writing books.
Christ almighty.
Why not? I bet they would write better than many men.
Such audacity.
More like experience. I once helped with copy.
A person does all that work to learn to read and write, but then they sit you down at a... Not just time.
Hold on.
I did. Look, you've never thought about writing...
Me? And what would I write?
How should I know? Poetry...
That's a tempting notion.
Wouldn't you want to at least give...
I suppose I'm not quite sure where you're going.
There are still a few blank pages left, so we could finish...
That sounds great.
We'll have plenty of light and privacy in my chambers.
My pleasure.
How should I start?
You haven't thought of anything yet?
Now, I have many ideas, but we must contribute in equal part.
Both? Well, fine. And what should I do?
Just tell me what you'd like to read about. A tale of a man or a woman? I'll take careful notes of everything.
Well, there are heaps of stories about men. So I propose one about a woman.
All right, a woman then. But I'd need to know more about her.
Such as...
Tell me one trait that is important for you. What would impress you in a girl?
Well, I admire courage in girls. They're weaker than men, and life is rarely easy for them. But they still don't give up.
Do you know one like that? Tell me about her.
I think every woman is brave in her own way.
I'd like to hear more about that.
Well, the world is hard enough on them. And now that there's a war going on, they have no way to even defend themselves. When an army storms through some village, they have no choice but to flee or pray. And when the war blows over, they keep on taking care of their families and their men.
Assuming that any come back to them. But you're right otherwise.
And do you know any interesting girls?
I should say so. For example, the Queen of Sheba, Mary the Prophetess, Hypatia of Alexandria.
I meant ones you really know, not just from books.
It's not my fault they were born before me. But if you want someone living, then Anna of Waldstein. She was widowed young and inherited a heap of groschen from her husband. In just a few years, she made the pile even bigger. Because she has a nose for a good deal.
You don't see that too often.
There's a lot of gossip about her, too. As if it were criminal for a woman to have more than cooking and washing on her mind.
Can't think of anybody.
Really?
let's try... Well, being a man myself, a man, I suppose.
Why not? And what kind of a man is he?
You mean I have to think up a name?
You don't need to, but try to describe him so I can better imagine him. With a single word, even.
Now, there've already been enough heroes, saints, kings and martyrs. So an ordinary person.
That's 2 words, but I'll forgive you. And do you want it to be an ordinary villain or an ordinary do-gooder?
Make him a do-gooder. But he can also have some bad traits to make it believable.
Very well. And what kind?
He could be born with his foot in his mouth. I know many such. They blur...
That's a good idea. His mouth gets him into trouble, but in the end, also out of it. That would be a joy to write.
Well, let's have a look.
Not yet.
What?
A picture. I don't trust myself with proper illumination, but I think I can handle a sketch, especially if you'll be my model.
What? And what on earth do I have to do?
Have you ever seen a heron? Imitate one.
A heron? Well, maybe like this?
Well, now we're done.
Oh, finally. I'm sore all over.
Your suffering is over. Come take a look at what we've done. Your reward. Fear not, the ink has already dried. So what about that story of ours? Tell me your impression.
That's nice. A bit didactic, but not to the point of boring moral bludgeoning. And that's the way it should be. Sermons for ordinary people work in a similar way. They entertain and encourage, with a few lessons added in between.
You see, when I lead mass one of these days, I'll certainly think of you. And what about the sketch? For such a slapdash job, it's not bad, right?
Oh, it's pretty, really. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I know I'm no master illuminator, but otherwise, I think we can be quite satisfied. And thank you for the help. I really enjoyed it.
Well, so did I. I'd like to see you again sometime. Would you mind if I stopped by?
Please do. I'll be glad. It will certainly be enlightening for both of us.
You said you...
If you ask nicely...
Very well, then.
That depends on what you're interested in, or if you prefer actions.
But I warn you in advance that it's so.
I'd like you shoot...
I prefer...
Will you?
Why not?
But I warn you so.
I'd like... What's the...
You'd bet...
Did you hear who died?
Ha! I thought it was old Bart, but then I heard him coughing his lungs up in the arm.
Slowly. Nice and slow.
The city council has decided to help King Sigismund.
Rain or shine, our way.
A fine day for some fine wares.
It has therefore decided to collect food supplies from the city to send to our brave defenders that they may live.
Last chance, fine wares.
Come and take your pick. Go to the town hall.
My respects.
Glad to see you again.
You have the gall to show me your face again? I'll call the guards.
Hold your horses. I'll come in peace. Actually, I have a little offer for you.
You've come to blackmail me again?
Call it what you like. I need to get into the City Council Assembly. And I reckon you can help me.
The Assembly? The one King Sigismund is supposed to attend in person?
No, Sigismund's just a usurper. Wenceslas is the only true Bohemian king.
Singing Ruthard's song, eh? I might have known. Speak then. What do you want? And tell the truth.
I want to know what Sigismund tells the council. I hear it'll be important.
You want to spy? Do you know what you're risking? And what I'd be risking? Forget it.
Have you forgotten I have you over a barrel? If you want to keep your position and your head on your shoulders, you better shape up.
All right, all right. Maybe we can make a deal. If I get you into the council, you'll behave appropriately and you won't betray yourself, or especially me. And that will be the end of our business together.
And how about a few groschen to seal our fruitful relationship?
You're worse than a horse dealer. Have it your way, then. You can get into the council assembly relatively easily. My cook's son will be serving there. He's roughly around your age. Maybe he can be persuaded to let you stand in for him. Although, not everyone would want to give up an opportunity to serve the King of Hungary.
Who's this boy?
Franta's his name. Franta Cooldown. He's an idler and a boozer, but he's proved his worth as a waiter. Which reminds me, you'll need his letter of permission to serve in the council. Otherwise, you won't be let inside.
What will I need to work as a waiter there?
Fast feet and good manners. And the livery of a royal waiter.
Excuse me?
Do you think you can serve the king in a torn shirt and muddy hose?
Well, no. But I never heard about any livery before.
Our usual waiter had a brand new livery made specially for meeting the king. Don't even show up there without it.
Where can I find the cook's boy?
He's supposed to pick up his new clothes at the market today from Master Tailor Schneider. You'll almost certainly run into him there. That is, if he's up and about after his boozing bout. I swear that fellow practically lives at that Tin Hen.
At the what?
That German alehouse, the Iron Eagle. That is Zum Eisernen Adler.
What would work on him? How can I persuade him to give me his job?
Would you like me to give you a letter for him? I told you how to get to the assembly. Now do your part.
I'll be going then.
Just make sure we...
Fine wares. Pies. Sweet. Fine day for some fine wares. Come and...
Rain or shine. Have you got those clothes for me?
Greetings.
Surely you can wait a while. I have a customer here. Here you are. The finest fabric. Intricate work.
You won't know more than I'd expect after the amount they cost. Thanks. I'll gladly recommend you if anyone asks. And you impatient fella, what was it you wanted?
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took the job on for you. You can put your feet up, fill your belly, and I'll do all the work for you.
Look here. It's not like I'm all that keen on it, but it's well paid. Apart from that, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. Them councillors stuffing their faces and guzzling wine, while I run around like a bugger with pitchers so they don't run dry. Why would you want to stick your nose in there?
Linen canvas. Come and buy the finest canvas.
I just have to get in there, understand? I have an important message for the king about a plot against him.
But why would you want to get to him as a waiter?
But it could be that someone from the council is mixed up in it, so I have to be incognito. See?
I see. All right, then. To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked as a waiter at the council and you're capable of serving even His Majesty. Look here. Do you have any idea what's expected of you? Can you tell different wines apart and that?
Well, to tell the truth, I'm not exactly an expert.
You're off to a great start. But whatever, if you make a mess of it and the king has you whipped, you've no one to blame but yourself. Show the confirmation to the head butler. Tell him I sent you and think up some good excuse, clear?
That makes sense.
And you'll need a waiter's livery. I had a brand new one made. Here it is. I look like a prick in it. Hopefully it'll sit better on you. The main thing is, don't lose it before the assembly, or get it covered in shit.
Thanks. I won't disgrace you, I promise.
You better not.
Red! Iron wares, knives, rivets, axes. Come and make your pick.
A fine day for some fine wares. Come and take your pick.
They're called
Franta Cooldown sent me. I'm to stand in for him at the council assembly.
Franta's not coming? What's...
He got as drunk as a lord. Totally pie-faced. Then he fell into a ditch, and now he's staggering around the streets, God knows.
I might have expected. Once, he turned up with a hangover, and as soon as he smelt wine, he threw up all over the chapel door. I told him, if that ever happened again, he was for the boot. Oh, well, you'll have to take his place for today. I've no time to find someone else. We can't be without a waiter here, when the king himself will need waiting on. So, let's have a look at you. Have you got Franta's certificate?
Sure.
Everything's in order. You've got a waiter's cap, a tunic, you have. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if you're running around everything as it should. Do you know what your duty for an inexperienced greenhorn like?
Well, I'll happily listen to any advice. I wouldn't want to foul things up.
I should certainly... Now listen. A good waiter should stand in a corner, look willing and ready, and not get in anyone's way. In short, behave as if you're not there. But when one of the gentlemen calls for wine, you run and pour it for him on the double. You'll find the pitchers on a table by the door to the chapel. You take one and go to their table and pour for them white Tokaib or red monastery wine.
White or red, by the door to the chapel.
But for Councillor Adam of Zarjitz, you must not pour at all. When he drinks, he disrupts and makes trouble. So the assembly has to be interrupted, or otherwise it never reaches an end. We can't allow that to happen in the presence of the king.
All right. Sir Adam of Zarjitz stays dry.
And if the king himself wants wine, you pour for him with lowered eyes. Don't look at him. And the most important thing?
Remember who wants what?
That too, but more importantly, and in general, a good waiter has...
Oh? I thought I had to keep...
Well, yes, but only to what anyone wants from you. No excuses, and provide everything that anyone wants from you. Understood?
What if I make a mess of something?
Then I'll see to it that you won't get a job even mopping the floor in the whole... But I'm sure that's not going to happen.
I've got
something more important. You need to go for a pick.
Here I am.
Let's have a look. You've got a wedge. You can put... You don't want everything. Do you know what you...
I know everything.
Excellent. Put away your things here. It's easier to serve with a lighter load.
There are the pictures of wine.
Our current Waffen
Nothing, I'll splash
is a
Hey,
joke,
waiter, pour me
and on
something.
top of that, the army was requisitioning from it. Should the town reserve
I
have
apologize,
worse weapons
sir.
than any räuber
Which
in the
wine?
domain?
Are you
colorblind?
White,
Eldris. I'm saying that the bandits who freed Hinnick, the Dry Devil, used that thing. That Hackenbücher. Hand
Sir?
Can you believe it? Where did they get them?
Thank you, waiter. You're the one who should know where they got them, since you're a gunsmith.
What are you implying, Friedrich? All I'm saying is that they had them.
I'm sorry.
Herrgott. It
I
is
wasn't
eine
paying
Schande
attention.
when outlaws have better weapons than the city garrison. And Herr König surely knows this too.
What is it, Eldris? You smell a deal?
What I smell is that your stubborn heads do not realize what...
Sir, get me white.
This is. The Dry Devil is
Sorry,
running
sir.
free. There are
Orders from above.
everywhere
This
in
is
the region.
unbelievable.
We have the army bearing down, and you want to defend yourselves with a few rusty halberds.
And who is it?
Francis Santokai, refill boy.
The merciful King Sigismund is providing us with protection. Indeed.
Der König and his army will not be here forever.
Shut up! The king can arrive at any moment.
Hey,
What
where's
if he
my
had-
white?
What then? We're
Sir?
sitting atop the biggest silver heap in the kingdom, and we're
Well,
supposed to
thank
defend it with brooms?
You're right, Eldris. But where can we get the coin for better equipment?
We can always confiscate the property of the king's enemies, nicht wahr?
We are more than familiar with the jämmerlich state of our armory. And the king is surely aware of it as well. Maybe if he waived some of the taxes?
The king fears that this town will rise against him. He'll take the arming of the city's militia as a preparation for war.
So you suggest we just wait with arms crossed for the Raubritter to wreak havoc all around?
We can always ask the king to bring order to the realm with his army.
But then the Dörfler will rise up.
I'm afraid I see no solution of the current situation. We shall wait and see what His Majesty thinks about the matter. Maybe we can change his mind. Vielleicht?
I'd like to report to the Honourable Council on the cleanliness of the city and the state of the public baths.
You mean baths or
I'd like some monastery wine. Refill my cup, boy.
Isn't it the same thing?
That's not a good idea, sir.
This is unbelievable.
So, the cleanliness of the city is not what it should be. The current baths in the
More
city
wine,
fall
Master
far
Bailiff?
short of covering all the citizens' needs.
You're right. We do have the new bath and opera.
I need something from you. There is an item in my study that I confiscated from a female thief. She thought she could wriggle out of it by telling me who the item belongs to.
And what is it?
A silver goblet. She sneaked into Sir Ulrich's house and stole it. No one's noticed the theft yet. But if Ulrich finds out, he'll turn the city upside down to find the culprit. Go and get it. And don't you make a mess there, understand?
Where can I find this gob?
Use your eye and come right.
Baths, the profits would be much bigger. And all the other baths would chip in with their taxes, too.
What? More baths? Surely not.
The need for cleanliness and citizens' health should not be
nice.
underestimated.
Nor
Whose silver might this be?
overestimated. If someone needs to wash, there's a river just a few steps from the city walls.
Certainly. And...
So, did you...
I did, Master Bailiff. Here it is.
Not so loud. And now go back to your...
Nor are right.
Have you forgotten the Black Death? A great many people died needlessly.
Are you questioning God's plan? The Black Death had nothing to do with the baths, unless the Lord wishes to punish the wickedness that's going on in there.
Keeping the city clean is important, but we don't have money to spend. Arguing about who is going to wash where and how is a waste of time.
I got word that Rutard has pulled off another deed.
That's nothing unusual.
Hey, waiter!
That
Pour
old
me some
weasel
monastery
never
wine.
accept that the city isn't run his way, At least until His Majesty honors us with his visit. And as we know, Gunslin absolutely hates him.
He can hate all he wants, as long as he does no damage. Ulrich, what have you got to say about it?
Me? Well, I'm not sure what you're implying.
I'm speaking about the Rutard incident. You were there, weren't you?
Oh, that. Just a small misunderstanding. We've sorted it out and everything's settled.
My ears must be deceiving me. Are you defending Rutard? Besides, if his men attacked yours, as I've heard, then we have a good reason to punish him.
What happened there? Leave nothing out.
I don't like Rutard, true, but in this case it really was nothing.
Everyone in the city gossiped about it. I heard there were several dead.
Did you? That's grossly exaggerated.
Thank you, waiter.
I don't think Rutard will cause any trouble. He is sensible enough not to draw attention to himself while the king is here.
That's true,
some Tokai.
because if we don't do
boy.
something about him, the king himself will put an end to him, and soon.
Unless he puts an end to us first.
Sir? Nice one.
He wants to tell us.
If nothing happens,
Well, thank the
there's no
Lord.
point in dwelling on it. Let's move on.
Things have got out of order in the town. Some adventurers decided to take the law into their own hands and restore the tradition of duels. It's not only barbaric, but also illegal. I could understand it with mercenaries, students, and other scum of all kinds, but city councillors?
Be specific.
Hey, boy!
Forsooker.
A full cup of monastery wine!
Ah, and look who spoke first.
First of all,
Sir?
it wasn't a duel. This was supposed to be an honorable
Don't
combat.
hang around me!
And
Vanish!
Because it is.
And that's the only reason you're still here on the council and not in the pillory.
If you want to blame somebody, you should point the finger at the youngster here who's...
Excuse me?
Ah, never mind.
I suspect the gentleman from the city's sword-fighting school brought this custom
Refill,
to us.
sir?
It's
Do you think I
now
come to the
run by
council
the
just to
German
guzzle wine?
Menhard.
Come here.
Who knows who that fellow is?
What can I help you with?
I left my gloves in the chapel. I took them off to pray, but then I rushed here and forgot to take them. I can't just get up and walk out now. But if you disappear for a little while...
So, you will just leave it be?
All right.
I knew I could count. While you're at it, count how many figures on the mural have wings.
Good.
Because I'm bored. And because I...
Town garrison. The guards are apparently settling accounts their own way. We'll soon be the laughingstock of the whole town.
You can rest assured the whole town is already laughing at us all day long.
That was easy enough. And he wanted me to count the winged figures.
My words exactly. The town council is squabbling constantly at the Emperor Charles, and no one is left unscathed.
And you account... Let people...
So,
I found your gloves, sir.
Really? And did you count those?
I counted 24, sir.
And you counted correct, so you can have a bit of fun in the evening too.
There's the eternal dispute over the cathedrals. The building of the church is dragging on, and in the meantime, they are calling diocesan pilgrimages to settlers, right under our noses. It's just a village with a monastery, and they are going to make a royal mining city. Why can't we build faster? Hire more craftsmen, start with night shifts.
I'll have a cup
Haven't
of
you
wine.
noticed there's a war
Nice
going
big
on?
one.
Are the experts from far off supposed to work in a city under siege?
Besides, I get the feeling there's something other than
Sir?
the welfare of the city behind your complaints.
Oh, you do? Do
You, lad.
And what
You look
would that be?
familiar to me.
Like, for
Have we
instance,
met?
that you'd
Well,
like
naturally.
to have your own
I go to
altar
your
there?
tavern almost
So
every
what
day.
if I would?
Really?
Hold your horses, gentlemen.
Then you must have
That
decent
space in the
wages to be
side
able
gate
to
is
visit
mine.
the best tavern
The
in
hell
town
freezes over,
regularly.
my friend. Your place is at least 2 steps behind mine.
A swordsmith dares to insult me? Ha! I think not.
Excuse me? You wanted to buy yourself an altar in the cathedral, just like you
Waiter,
bought yourself a seat in
pour
this
me red
council.
wine.
How dare you? I acquired my seat for the services our guild provided, and still provide
apologize.
to the crown.
Well, I hope you're not supplying equipment to the army.
It's
That's
you?
all they have.
I see
They
you've
would be
come up in the
defeated by
world.
that bunch
From a
of
bathhouse
ne'er-do-wells
boy
from
to a
the alehouse
waiter.
and Obrink.
You'll go a long way.
Those wrestlers of theirs, of course. People from
It was a lot more fun in the bathhouse.
You're a merry
Because
soul,
it
lad.
has all
I
been
like that.
sorted out. Not long ago, the guards raided and threw them all out.
Ah, yes, I had forgotten. What do we have to discuss next?
I'm telling you, something is being planned. Oh, I doubt it. No one's gonna tackle Rootard.
Azonal Juchek Össe, Elegiop Katonaikat, Shkelkinek Udra.
You have nothing to fear. Not you.
Like this plan of false!
Come now, father. Put a little life into your dying. Seen more cheerful priests at funerals.
I'd rather be at one than here. I hoped I'd never see this fortress again in my life.
Unpleasant memories?
You have no idea. I didn't part ways with my father on entirely good terms. 20 years ago.
And now you're 2 decades older and wiser. At your Ujit's parish, you spread the word of God to your flock, and you saved my neck and Henry's too. I'd say your father should be proud of you.
None of that matters a damn to him.
Who knows? Maybe that 20 years has changed a thing or two.
You know what? Let's drop the subject. Do you know any of the guests here?
Most of them I'm seeing for the first time in my life. It's a pretty varied company. We've had bandits, nobles, burghers, a priest, and even a rabbi coming together here. It's like the start of some joke.
Wait a moment. Rabbi, you say? The Kuttenberg rabbi?
Yeah. He came with a retinue. But for now, they're keeping mostly to themselves. Maybe you should go and welcome some of them. After all, this used to be your home. And you're a spiritual man too, so you should have something in common.
I wouldn't be too sure. But I suppose I can try. Who's that French fellow you brought here from Malishov?
The great Baron Brabant. Been everywhere, knows everything, and has the keys to half the kingdom. He's got more fairy tales than my old nanny.
Can he be trusted?
He's a blabbermouth, but a harmless one. Besides, he defended Kuttenberg, and you know how that went. If he were on Sigismund's side, he'd hardly have been locked up with me.
How does it feel to breathe free air again?
What can I say? You can never truly appreciate freedom until someone locks you up for a while.
Or until you become a priest.
No fear of that in my case. I intend to enjoy life to the full. Wine, women, and song.
What do you plan to do now you're a free man again?
What do you think? Get drunk, woo one of the local wenches, and wake up in the morning with no hose and a head like a church bell.
Have you perchance forgotten we're supposed to be deciding the future of the kingdom here?
I'll leave that to the older and wiser. And duller.
Dear me. I'd rather creep off into some corner with a full wineskin. But I suppose I'll have to introduce myself to the rest of the guests, eh?
Indeed you should. After all, you are one of the lords of Rabosh.
Oh, don't start with that. I'd like to steer clear of the old man as long as I can.
In that case, you should sound out Radzig and Hanush and find out what they're actually planning.
Such rare guests. One wouldn't expect to find among Christians representatives of your community. I'm Godwin. My greetings to you.
Peace be with you. Neither would one expect a priest here. And yet...
How do you know I'm a priest?
It's not difficult to tell. After all, we have much in common. And we are both a little on unfamiliar ground here. I'm Yehuda, leader of the rabbinical court in the sacred community of Kuttenberg. And this is Samuel, my aide.
Who would rather not be here at all. Why did we have to come here, Sadie? Can you not see everyone is staring at us?
Because we all need to help each other in this time of need. And why would they not stare when you are frowning so?
Are you here to arrange some trade?
We have more serious matters to attend to here than gaining a few groschen. The situation in the... You have men and weapons.
Why are you telling this to a Koimer? You wanted to deliver what we brought to the Margrave?
Everything in good time, Samuel. We have just arrived, after all.
Did you come to lend money to the lords?
Not to lend, but to give. Help given to the needy is repaid only by God.
You don't even know if you can trust them. With that money, we could have paid mercenaries ourselves.
You remind me of my young friend Henry. He's a bit of a hothead too.
Henry? That messenger of Radzik Copula?
You know each other. You're both around the same age.
That would be him. But we did not get off to a very good start.
Well, maybe you'll get to know each other better. He should be coming here later, by the way. For a young stripling, he's been through plenty. It's not so long since his parents were killed in Skalitz. He was supposed to become a blacksmith, and instead, he's roaming the world, risking his neck at every turn.
Wait, a blacksmith, you say? From Skalitz?
Aye, that's right.
I knew of someone. A blacksmith by the name of Martin.
My daughter knew him most, and that is why Samuel is in this world. For our numerous sins.
Maybe he was my father, but he certainly didn't act like one. Ma raised me on her own.
And that was all for the best.
Why? He should have taken care of me, but instead he fathered another bastard.
Don't make hasty judgments. As far as I know, Martin didn't have any other children. At least, none of his own. He took in Henry and raised him as his own, on the orders of the Lord of Skalitz, Sir Radzik Copula, Henry's real father.
I don't care if he took care of 20 other Mamsas.
That boy's blood father denied him, just like yours did to you.
A person can't choose their parents. And Henry only found out about it recently.
Enough. I'd rather have a drink. Will you have one too, Zayde?
For that, there will be more suitable times.
Good health.
L'chaim.
diplomacy make poor bet.
Gloomy castle.
What is it? Did you drop something?
Around people more when he has nothing to do.
I'm glad I finally accepted.
Good health to you, sir. I'm Godwin. A friend of that lad you arrived with, Henry. We don't know each other.
Baron Vauquelin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. The last of my line. I am a warrior, a traveler, a strategist, and also, à ma manière, a poet.
My word. Isn't that exhausting?
Mais non! And I'm glad to meet a new friend.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Baron. I knew right away we'd hit it off. How did you end up imprisoned in Malashov?
Ah, c'est une histoire compliquée. It was after I heroically led the defense of Gothenburg, and only lost it narrowly by an unfortunate turn of events.
That needs some explanation. What unfortunate turn of events?
Oh, misère. It is clear you have never been to war.
So, be so kind as to enlighten me.
When they broke through the defense, I ended up in captivity. It was only due to my acquaintances in a court that I escaped execution.
Oh? I thought it was Henry.
My neck was not at risk in Malashov. I may have still been a prisoner with my personal freedom restricted. But they never broke my spirit.
You say you're a poet? How about a verse or two to amuse us?
Jamais. Is poetry nothing but a fuss to you? Is a poet a gesture? I think not. To recite, I require the proper mood.
Where have you been on your travels? Have you seen the ocean?
But of course! I was born by the sea. If you are interested in my greatest journeys, then I have traveled with a merchant caravan all the way to the Ottoman Empire. And if you are interested in my greatest deed, then that was perhaps saving the life of the King of France.
And you wouldn't by any chance know the Pope, personally?
Which one do you mean? I spoke briefly with Boniface IX when I was sojourning in Rome. A pleasant fellow.
How come almost nobody here knows you?
I am operating, as they say. Incognito. My great benefit is my strong connection with the French court. There, everyone knows my name. Here in Bohemia, I'm still building my reputation, slowly, but surely.
Dear friends and allies, in these troublesome times, you all know why we're here. The question remains, what to do next? Sigismund is facing troubles in Hungary, and here, too, he is up against resistance. He's a capable strategist, but a poor diplomat. Mark my words. If we wait him out until winter, he will leave of his own accord.
By winter, he'll have torched all our fortresses and carried off everything that we possess.
Are we seriously gonna wait and cower in a corner? Or are we gonna drive them out in shame? A few well-planned raids and we could have him in our fists!
At what price? Have you got men to spare? Has any of you got men and money to spare?
We don't have men out there.
Yes, we do.
We do not.
Jobst is right. That whole sun won't fall easily.
Only we can't wait.
Are we to get ourselves killed?
Or end with nothing?
Friends, we'll get nowhere like this. Let's adjourn ourselves and try to think it through.
Well, that went just as expected. Good health. And to yours. Could it have gone any other way when there's so many of us here? I would have expected a bit more sense from Jobst, of all people. He made an amateur's mistake. But it's hard to be angry with him when he's trying to ingratiate himself with everyone. By the way, I'm John of Liechtenstein. And you must be Godwin, the son of...
That's not a thing I've ever boasted of. How do you know that?
I have my sources. From what I've heard about you, I'd judge you could be quite useful to me at today's gathering.
Is that so?
Indeed. And that's why I'd like to ask something of you.
It depends what it's all about.
A little delicate diplomacy. I expect we can agree that Jobst's plan has certain shortcomings.
That's a weak word.
And the way it stands at the moment, he'll never get the support of the council. But I have an idea how to change one.
I'm curious how you hope to shut Zizka up and satisfy the ones who want peace.
We'll sit and wait quietly until Sigismund withdraws of his own volition, as Jobst proposes, but we'll be waiting in the military camp of our huge new army.
When Sigismund sees that, he'll be off to Hungary all the sooner. At a gallop.
Exactly. Sigismund's army is demoralized and weakened. And besides, he's running out of resources. He's able to tackle fortresses that aren't able to defend themselves. But he won't engage an equal force on the battlefield.
But he can't retreat either. That would be a disgrace.
And that's exactly why we'll wait until he's called back to Hungary by events there. For the plan to work, we need allies, their money and their determination. We've already set the ground for it. We just need negotiators who will push the right people in the right direction.
Are you saying you set everything in motion even before Jobst?
More like in parallel, but without his knowledge. If we find support and make it look like the whole thing was his idea, we'll all win.
Why are you doing all this anyway?
Because I want to put a stop to the senseless deaths. And also because I'm happier with Wenceslas on the Bohemian throne.
You've got an interesting way of approaching things.
You're certainly not the first to tell me that. I take it as a compliment.
I'll help you. What exactly should I do?
I'll give you 3 names. Botchek of Kunstadt, Haman Alder, and Anna of Waldstein. If you can get those 3 on our side, we've won the day. Meanwhile, I'll take care of Jobst.
What if it doesn't work?
I refuse to even consider that outcome. Because it would mean slow, but certain defeat for all of us.
Why me, of all?
Because you've got a head on your shoulders. You know how to talk, and you're not just out for your own good. You and your friend Henry are similar in that respect. That's why I know I can count on you both. There aren't many like you two left.
Tell me a bit more about those people, so I know who I'm dealing with.
Certainly. Who do you want to start with?
Botchek of Kunstadt. I know the name, but I can't quite place him.
That's just the thing. He's got massive estates, great influence, but he holds back. He doesn't play the big game, because he doesn't like to take risks. He always goes for the sure thing. But once he's made his mind up, not even a pair of oxen will hold him back.
Alder the Alderman. Wasn't he a Kuttenberg councillor?
He still is. The only one who retained his position after the city was taken. Only he's here, instead of cozying up with Sigismund in Kuttenberg. So his days in the council are numbered.
But he'll continue to have a strong influence on the guilds and the rich burghers. And that's why we need him.
Anna of Waldstein. The widow of that rich mine owner. What was his name?
Wenzel Bartosz. And I'm not surprised you forgot.
I was quite surprised to see her here. Assemblies like this are more of a
male affair? So far, Godwin, so far. Anna is holding back and behaving like an exemplary young widow. But don't trust appearances. She's got claws, she knows how to do her sums, and she certainly has no love lost for Sigismund.
And what use can she be to us? Apart from her late husband's money, of course.
She's as sharp as they come when it comes to trade. And she knows a thing or two about diplomacy. There are wicked tongues that claim Bartosz acquired most of his wealth thanks to her, and that it was thanks to her that he died, too.
I'll get on it then.
I wish us both
success to our plans. God be with you. There's something I'd like...
God be with you. What would that...
Your diplomatic support. And your money.
No beating around the bush, eh?
I like that. But what do you want my money for?
Margrave Yob's plan has some gaps, milady. We need to gather enough resources to...
To muster an army that Margrave can't afford on his own?
Christ. Be praised. You're a...
I should say so. All sorts of people have their eyes on my money, and divining their intentions is a necessity. Although, between the two of us, it isn't hard to figure out what Liechtenstein is after.
How do you know Liechtenstein is behind it?
I know most of the people here very well. Many of them certainly have doubts about the Margrave's plans. But they wouldn't dream of stating them aloud. While it seems that Lord Liechtenstein, on the contrary, sees his opportunity.
I'd say you have a better nose for people than most of this crowd.
Not only for people, but also for good food and wine. And beneficial deals.
Then you're in the right place. This occasion provides all of those things.
The wine here is average. The cooks lack imagination. And I have yet to hear any interesting offers. So, to the point. What is it that Liechtenstein wants from me?
Nothing more than support and resources for an army to parley more effectively with Sigismund.
Nothing more? I'd say that's plenty. And why ask me for help? Why should I, of all people, take the risk?
It's not only your money we're interested in. You're well able to negotiate and trade. And if you were to take part in our plan...
Then I'd be helpful to you on two fronts. If you want me to support you, you must give me a good reason. Perhaps a favor in return.
Do you have something in particular in mind?
Well, one of the guests here has something that shouldn't get into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
Harman Alder. Now, if you were to switch these papers for the ones he brought with him, I would support your proposal.
Have you fallen out with the town councillor?
No. Alder is innocent in the matter. My relatives from the House of Bartosz are behind it all. They're disappointed that I dared outlive my husband, and the fact that I'm handling his estates makes their hair stand on end.
And these papers I'm supposed to switch, what do they concern?
My relatives somehow dug up some trade contracts between myself and certain undesirable parties.
You were dealing with the enemy.
They were not the enemy at the time. My conscience is clear, but I'll rest easier when those papers are in my hand.
And the papers I'm supposed to plant on Alder?
Just...
I'm supposed to...
Harman Alder was given the documents to... He hasn't yet had a chance to look at them, so he won't even notice the difference.
All right, I'll help you.
Alder will surely have the papers in his saddlebags, which he left in the shed on the outer courtyard. Bring them to me, and put these there instead. But watch yourself. Odorin's groom has eyes.
Easy. Nobody has the right of time.